Right, so let's start with greedy 1 first. So we are told that the starting point is A. So from A, if we look at the smallest one there, from A the smallest one is to go to D, which is 76, right? Okay, so A 76 will take me to D, and from D the closest one is C, which is 17. So 17 will take me to C, and from C, now if I take the next closest one, A and D are already included inside the tour, so then the next one after that is going to be G 230. Then if I go from G, so I cannot consider A, C, D anymore, but then the closest one is going to be E at 173. And then from E, I can either go to B or F. So B will be 112, F will be 79. So in that case, F is smaller. Then we have A, B, C, D, this is F, okay? And from F, I have no other option now but to go to D, because this is actually the last one I need to get to, and this is 81. Now from B, I have to return back to A, so then I have to consider the return distance, which is 205. So then in this case, I'm going to get the following tour, and the total sum of that is going to be 861. So this will be the greedy one. So greedy one is going to be sensitive to the starting point, because in this case we specify A to be the starting point, but if you were to do it with a different starting point, you might not get the same answer. Okay, so generally speaking, we would specify for you what is the starting point, but in practice, when you implement your own greedy one, you can pick your own starting point. Now the second greedy algorithm, there is less randomness there, in the sense that the starting point is not random. Instead, we're going to pick as a starting point the very smallest distance. And if we take a look at the full table, the smallest possible distance is that between CD, which is 17. So which means that your beginning tour is actually CDC, right? C going to D, D going back to C. So originally it's just 4. Now if we consider from C and D, then we are going to pick up the next one city to add to the tour. From C, other than D itself, the closest one is A, 86. From D, other than C, the next closest one is A, 76. So for both C and D, the closest one is A. But D is closer to A than C is, so we're going to pick this D, and we're going to put A next to D. So putting A next to D could mean CDA, or it could mean CAD. But in this case, because all the three edges are the same, they are essentially going to be exactly the same distance. So CDA, the CD is still 17, the DA is 76, the AC is 86, right? Now if we go for this one, CA is 86, AD is 76, and then DC is 17. So the exact distance are going to be the same in both cases. So because they are exactly the same, we can just pick any one of them. in fact, we don't have to really choose because they are essentially identical. Because in this case, the distances are symmetric. So we're going to drop this one, and then we're going to continue. Now, the next one after that, we need to pick the next one city. So currently we have CDA. So then we need to pick between B, E, F, G, which one is closest. So from C, the next closest one is going to be G, which is 230. From D, the next closest one is also G, which is 220. For A, the next closest one is also G, which is 144. But between A and C and D, G is closest to A at 144. So we just put G next to A. So putting G next to A could mean CDAG, or it could mean CDGA. So then we're just going to compare what are going to be the distances. So now we see that we have two options. Both of them are 4, 6, 7. And we can also see that they are not actually identical. So this is a different case than before when we talk about a CDA or CAD. In the case of 3, they are exactly identical. In this case, the distances actually are slightly different. It just so happens that the total sum is going to be the same. Now, when you run into this kind of situation, then what you do is that you just need to pick one of them. And we're going to make sure that we're going to take into account your answer to both of them. So that means that as long as you give us one correct answer, that is fine. Because we understand that at that point of time when you run it, you're going to pick one at random. And then going beyond that, at some point you're going to get to the answer, and the answer might be different depending on which fork you go to. So here you have two identical answers. So what we're going to do is that we're going to pick one of them. So for now, let's assume we're going to pick the first one, and we're going to set aside the other one. So we're going to continue from here. So we have CDAG. Now we have 3 cities left, which is B, E, and F. So for A, the closest one is B, which is 205. For C, the closest one is also B, which is 246. For D, the closest one is also B, which is 250. For G, now the closest one is not B, but E, 173. And so far, 173 is actually smaller than AB or CB or DB, right? So we're going to take E and put it next to G. So putting E next to G could mean C, D, A, G, E or C, D, A, E, G. So AE is 259. CE is 325. And in this case, you have GC 230. Right, so it turns out that one is smaller than the other. So CDAGE at 735, this is smaller. And because this is smaller, we're going to pick that distance, that tour, and grow from there. So this one, we are going to drop it, right? So we're going to ignore the red one. We're going to continue from this. So C, D, A, G, E. So there are only two cities left now, which is B and F. So for A, the closest one is B. For C, the closest one is for C, the closest one is B. For D, the closest one is B. For E, between 112 and 79, F 79 here is smaller. For G, the closest one is B. But 79 here is the smallest, so we're going to pick F, put it next to E. So which means that we are going to look at the two possibilities of this one versus FE. GE is 173. So the FC 326. So the FG is 230. And finally the CE is 325. Okay, so one is clearly shorter, so then we're going to pick this one. We're going to drop the second one. Okay, finally now there is only one city left to consider, and the one city left is B. So we just need to figure out where is B closest to. So among all the cities that are already in the tour, B is closest to F at 81. So then we just need to put B next to F. And putting B next to F could mean that B comes after F or before F. So B and so this is okay. So the BF is 81 in both cases. So BE is 112 and the BC, so this one is 246. This one is FC, and FC is 326. So it looks like one is clearly shorter, right? So C to D is 17. D to A is 76, right? A to G is 144. G to E is 173. E to F is 79. And then F to B, 81. And then finally B to C, 246. Right, so then we drop the second one and we keep that one. So in this case, the answer is 816 if C, D, A, G, E, F, D. Now if your answer is some form of a circular permutation of this, it's still correct. So you just have to start from C. You can have D, A, G, E, F, D, and so on. Or if your answer is a mirror image, it will still be correct as long as the distance is 816. Now this is presuming that earlier on, when we get to the city of 4, we had a random choice and you pick one option. If you had picked the other option, you might end up with a different tour of a different distance. Okay? Now, any clarification about the way that the greedy 2 works? So greedy 1, usually most people consider it to be straightforward. Just keep in mind that when you run greedy 1 or greedy 2, at some point you might hit a case where there are two equally good options. In that case, it doesn't quite matter which one you take. Eventually, you're going to get an answer, and you will still consider both possible answers. Right?